The Bad Batch, Episode 7, Battle Scars. After failing to return with the tactical droid's data, Sid tells the Bad Batch that they need to do a big job to pay off their debt to her. They're soon afterwards interrupted by Captain Rex, which turns out to be Trace and Rafa's mystery client. During their conversation, Rex, who already had his inhibitor chip removed, then becomes alarmed to learn that the Bad Batch had not removed theirs. Understanding the consequences of having not done this yet, the Bad Batch agree to meet up with Rex on Bracca, a starship graveyard planet controlled by the Scrapper Guild, and sneak on to an old Jedi cruiser to use its medical bay. However, during the procedure, Wrecker's agitation ends up activating his chip, which in turn sees him attacking his teammates and almost even killing Omega in the process, before eventually being subdued by Rex. And once the dust settles, everyone on the Bad Batch then get their chip removed one by one. Seeing that his work here is done, Rex takes his leave before asking Hunter to join the rebellion against the Empire, an offer that Hunter for now is still hesitant to accept. But as the two say goodbye to each other, Hunter is then spotted from afar by members of the Scrapper Guild, who in turn alert the Empire. So, where do I start here? Well, for starters, I have to say, this was just so good. A top tier episode for sure, probably if not the best we've had since the series premiere. The choice of location for this episode in Bracca, which we all know from Jedi Fallen Order, was perfect. It added an element of creepiness, but was also a great visual representation of how the Republic is no more. It's dead, and this is its graveyard. The sound design here also amplified exactly this, and created the mood of a post-apocalyptic world, a world without the Republic. Just the sound of the groaning of a first-generation Venator throughout this entire episode really did it for me, kind of giving me Chernobyl vibes, and that alone is an amazing testament to the sound design we get here. Now, when the episode first started, I figured, oh, okay, we're probably gonna get another fetch side quest for Sid again like we did in the last few episodes. Which, while I liked them, they're alright, but they're not really memorable and something that will stand out for you once the series is long over, but this certainly was, and the second we see Rex make an appearance here, then without a doubt I knew we were in for something good. Because Rex's presence here alone adds so much, giving the series this episode a far more serious tone, and as we all know, he's been through a lot with Ahsoka. And when he says the inhibitor chips are dangerous, then yeah, you better listen. Something that Tech definitely learns the hard way later on from here. I will say though that I am however surprised a bit that Rex turned out to be Trace and Rafa's mystery client. That I did not see happening at all, and truth be told, I'm kinda mixed on that outcome. But I suppose it makes some sense with Ahsoka being the obvious link between them all here, but still, I'm a little bit on it. Another thing that took me a bit by surprise was Echo's reaction to Rex mentioning fives, or therefore lack of. Pretty much, it didn't seem to affect Echo as I was anticipating given their history and all, so I can only assume Rex already filled him in on all of that off screen, which is a bit of a shame as I'm sure we were all expecting to see a more emotional moment from Echo come from this. Now, of course, the main focus of this episode was not only the inhibitor chips themselves, but the special bond that Wrecker and Omega have also formed. It's made pretty clear in this episode that they've grown very close to each other during all this time, and that was exactly used to represent just how insanely dangerous the chips can be. turning Wrecker from 1 second being a cuddly teddy bear to basically a frightening zombie that wants to kill everyone to anyone, no matter how close they were to him. And it also really goes to show just how dangerous Wrecker can truly be, with him kicking everyone's butt and not even breaking a sweat from doing that. Now, putting that aside, I really think the terrifying part of this episode was what Wrecker said after he wakes up from the procedure, and that is that he was fully conscious and aware of his actions while under the influence of the chip, but that he couldn't do a thing to stop himself. And this makes you think, all those clones that killed the Jedi that they served with for years, they knew exactly what they were doing, maybe also tried to resist it, but just couldn't stop it. And that alone is pretty scary and sad at the same time. The ending was also interesting as well, as not only is this episode a two-parter, but it's pretty clear this isn't the last we'll see of Rex, and I'm so glad for that. His presence here was the best part of the episode for me, so if we can see more Rex on the Bad Batch, then yeah, I'm all for it. As now, I'm really looking forward to see him find Wolf and Gregor and getting their chips removed, along with seeing what makes him leave the fight against the Empire, as it's pretty evident he's a big part of the early rebellion, so something really bad had to happen to make him give up and leave. Who knows, maybe Cody was even involved too. Overall, this was a damn good episode, the best one yet. The sound design was on point, Bracca looked great, it had a bit of horror in it with Wrecker going insane, and Rex's debut on the show couldn't have been any better. And that was my take on this episode of The Bad Batch. Let me know what you all thought about the episode in the comments below, and if you haven't already, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.